Travis Wayne Goodsell. I was right. John Dehlin had not responded to me because he was aware of my videos. And so he did respond 1 hour ago from when it's probably 2 hours now, because I have typed the response and need to send it. But he then put in, didn't you release videos calling me a cult leader? So here's my response. I believe you are mainly talking about this one. And I did the one where I actually titled him as a cult leader. I would hope I am wrong. But you are educated as a psychologist, as you use the title of doctor, which means you know how to groom. It is great that there is a place for Mormons to come out of the closet of Mormonism into the new reality of ex-Mormonism, as you are the most popular medium for ex-Mormons' voices. Well, maybe in competition with Zelf on the Shelf, and Ex-Molex is doing very well lately. My concern is presenting the truth to both Mormons and ex-Mormons, and those who have never been, and those who have never been, and for it, I am not popular, nor do I want to be. If I become popular and have hundreds of thousands of people waiting on my every word as to what to believe, then I have failed. We have a common enemy, but I have knowledge about how much more evil the church is than even you know. And maybe that scares people who don't want to believe or don't want to know, being satisfied with the little they do know. Did you know Heber C. Kimball was a polygamist before joining? Did you know which Freemason rites the Smiths were in before 1826? Do you know why the Book of Mormon has plagiarized so many different contemporary publications? Do you know the difference between the keys of Peter, James, and John versus the key of Moses? Do you know that Mormons are a restoration of ancient Israelites as an apocalyptic religion and not a variation or restoration of gospel Christianity? Do you know what the coded place for Babylon is in Doctrine and Covenants, section 1, verse 16? Do you know why Hiram was not part of the administration until after Senior died? Do you honestly believe Joseph Jr. wrote the book? Do you not know Sidney Rigdon is the author? I hear many ex-Mormons on your podcasts who perpetuate the false narrative that the Brigham Gang created, but was covered up by the Second Reboot Church in 1923. Are you not recognizing that Nelson is rebooting Mormonism a third time? I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew. Having done so, I then deciphered Egyptian petroglyphs. Egyptologists know, thanks to Jean Champollion in 1822, how to translate text in the learning of the Greeks. But none of the unique characters in petroglyphs are listed in an Egyptian sign list because Egyptologists don't know how to translate them, or even know that they too need to be translated. While working on the revision of the footnotes for the foreign editions of the Quad, I came to learn how the inner system works and who is responsible for what. The church wants nothing to do with translation, not just because they just don't know, but also because they don't want it to be known Joseph was right. I came to the church informing them Joseph was a legitimate translator of his correction of biblical Hebrew, referred to in the King Follett sermon. I was assigned a troublemaker file, number 36434, as F. Michael Watson tried to get me excommunicated. John Tvetnes told me directly, Joseph was wrong. But then when I confronted him in one of his farm's lectures, he wouldn't defend Joseph, but said he, quote, never said that, end quote. John Gee sent me a letter in several forms of Egyptian, mocking me for claiming Joseph was a translator. I am the one to publish a Mormon philosophy, the only one to publish a Mormon philosophy. I know everything about Mormonism now that I've caught up on church history. Mormons have thought they could confound me only to be confounded and resort to fallacy and death threats. I am the only one to identify the biblical signs in the heavens, to warn of what they mean, as Mormons continue to wait for Nelson to tell them we are finally in the latter days. In my first lawsuit against the church, I caught them having paid the one who indefinitely incarcerated me by orders of the church. Then I caught the church attempting to cover it up. You don't know that Judge First was assigned to dismiss my petition after she was fired for allowing Gaddy v. COP to present evidence. Out of fear for her life, she allowed my case to continue. I should put, but remained silent. But remained silent till her last day. The church during that time ordered other assassinations on my life, one of which was ordering the governor to not implement preparations to handle coronavirus, thus causing the spread and escalation. Have you not thought it strange that the church made an additional $6 billion for 2020 from Ensign Peak, that's Associates, yet won't shut down the church to save Mormon lives? Nelson changed the loyalty oaths a second time after I reported the preparations of the church for polygamy again. The law of chastity uses the plural in his first revision for spouses, those. They distracted by having Eve quote from Moses, stop women from obeying their husbands, allow slacks on the missions, and no more veils. We all know the underground Mormon buzz that the church would practice polygamy again in the millennium, and I caught them in their initial preparations, and Nelson was pissed. In my second lawsuit, I warned of the 6th January 2021 assault on the Capitol. Were you not concerned when Nelson came out in his solemn assembly in 2018 that the church was working with Russia? When he canceled the high priest group? When he stopped home teaching? When Max Roth on Fox 13 News Utah exposed the church being secretly given $32 billion through newly formed LLC companies, thanks to Senator Hatch. And I post the link. Are you not aware that the Russian hack last year was a Trojan horse through a Mormon's company here in Utah? No one is investigating crimes of the church, as the church is taking advantage of this. I understand that ex-Mormons and yourself do not know what I know, and it does frustrate me to hear ex-Mormons continue to spread the specific lies that legitimize the church's claims to succession. When Joseph and Hyrum were assassinated by orders of Brigham and Heber, no one followed Joseph's succession in DNC 10722. The church uses the name of Joseph and the cover of the Book of Mormon in an edited form with the claim that the name of the church was Joseph's title. They even make us click on the links in the Joseph Smith papers to find the truth that Joseph kept the title Church of Christ till he was murdered. Brigham added the endowment with Freemason signs, loyalty oaths, and death to America, with naked Eves, suicide punishments, and the magic underwear. Brigham had brothels and prostitution with human sex trafficked Mormon women, kidnapped and held hostage because women had no rights in the mid-1800s. And yet Mormons are fooled and deceived into blaming Joseph. The church is using the shared knowledge of apocalyptic literature against us. They knew astronomy and thus the dates given in Revelation 12 and 19, and are using those dates in their current coordinated assault to destroy America, with the promise of the new kingdom of Deseret, with the reward of polygamy for only leaders who are high priests. I need to add in, did you even recognize that the Book of Mormon used those same signs in heaven from Revelation? So again, I do hope I am wrong about your intentions on your podcast, that you just don't know that you are helping the church by popularizing the big lies to distract from the real evil the church is up to. Again, I don't want popularity. If you choose to want me for a podcast, I will help you help others. My intention is only to warn and spread the truth. So yes, I didn't get involved in talking about the pseudoscience of psychology, but it's very clear. So there you go. Whether he responds or not, at least those who watch this video will know the information.